Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Innis Arden Golf Club for our fall closing meeting. It's been a fun 2 years of service as the president to you guys and girls here, but I am kind of glad that it's just about over. A couple thank yous just to get things started here. To Innis Arden, the club, the general manager, Bonnie Bocino, Superintendent Neil Laufenberg, head professional Gary Murphy, and assistant professional staff here, Anthony Castellino, Jess Carafiello, and Dan Young. Thank you to all of you and the rest of the staff for hosting us here today. To the Met PGA staff, I know Jeff, one of Jeff's things is always that they're here working for us. It's certainly greatly appreciated for everything that they do. And from me to all of you guys, a great appreciation for answering the phone when I called. I certainly felt and I knew that there was a battle as to who was going to answer the phone when the number from Mount Kisco showed up in the caller ID, but thank you for answering. Jeff Voorhees, our executive director, who will be up here momentarily, plenty of years of service to us here in the Met section, and has transitioned nicely into his new role as the executive director, and I know moving forward we're in great hands. Dan Kiley, also in a new position as our tournament director, filled in nicely. I've certainly missed working with him, but I know he's glad not to have to talk to me much this year. Dan Frankel, the junior golf coordinator, has certainly handled a very busy schedule of events, junior golf events throughout the summer. And as I was telling him this morning, that nice hair, I wish I could grow mine out like that, and congrats on all your singing gigs over the summer. A new member to the team, Caitlin Sabay, our player development manager, a great addition to the team. She has done a fantastic job with all of our programs, especially the PGA Junior League, which she kind of stepped into a situation where things weren't quite perfect, but she certainly made it seamless for all of us. So thank you for that, Caitlin. Paul Giordano, our communications manager, again, another great addition to the team. Fantastic work on the website and promoting us as professionals and as a section. Kelly Clayton, our director of operations, as I've said every year at the mic here, the glue to the operation over there. I feel like if she wasn't there, there would be a little bit of a downward spiral, but she holds it all together. Unfortunately, she is not here with us today, as I'm sure some of you have seen. Her husband passed away on Saturday, so our condolences to her and thoughts to her and her family. And last but not least, rounding out the group over there, Kevin Rodine, our guy, spent lots of time on the phone with him this year, emails, events. He has certainly been a great asset for our Assistants Association, and Kevin, it's been a pleasure working with you this year. So thank you to the Met PGA staff for another wonderful year. Moving on to another gentleman that's stepping down from the reins, Heath Wassam, our president, has served on the Met PGA board for some time now, in the past 3 years as our president. I know in that time he really wanted a Squire Cup victory, but I apologize that didn't happen. But in all seriousness, Heath, thank you for your time and working with me over the last 2 years, and also for your dedication and service to the section. You have continued the tradition and made us better than when you started. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Heath Wassam.
You had to go there with the Squire Cup. 3 years, 2 ties, 1 loss, but stacked my team each and every year, and you guys kicked our butts each time. So with the tie, you get to retain the cup. This year at my place going out was a blast, so I want to congratulate every assistant that made the Squire Cup team. It's an incredible process that we take very seriously, the 5 of us that do the selection. Some incredible resumes coming across. Writing skills definitely separated the last couple of spots. So just to let everyone in the room know, as you were applying for director of golf, next first assistant's position, head golf professional position, this Squire Cup application is meant to get you ready for that. The Squire Cup is near and dear to me over the past 14 years that I've served on the board and played on about 10 of them. It's a great day to honor the assistants that are excelling in this section, but really look at the submission, typing it in, the format, the structure of your letter. Your letter is actually probably the best opportunity you have to express who you are to the committee, whether it be us as the golf professionals for the Squire Cup or that next board, wherever you're trying to go. So the quality of the work, I got to say, was really incredible. And coming down to those last couple of spots, it truly was the writing skills that made such a difference from all the assistants. But I want to echo Dennis's thoughts on our staff. Our new executive director, Mr. Jeff Voorhees, attended a nice dinner the other night for Mr. Bobby Miller with our retired executive director, Mr. Charles Robson. Just a great representative of all of us in this room and in this section, and we'll be on the National Arena here in a couple of weeks down in Manhattan at the Grand Hyatt Hotel. Grand Hyatt Hotel, we are co-hosting the PGA annual meeting this year with Northeast New York, and President Derek Sprague's outgoing. Great opportunity for everyone in this room to see how our national governance works face to face. So Thursday morning we have the informal meeting, and Friday morning, I believe it's November 11th, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in there right after Election Day. Get on the train, get in the city, get down to the Grand Hyatt. I would love to see absolute wall-to-wall Met section guys in that room for the annual meeting to watch. We have a national election this year as well. So we have 3 candidates running: Mr. Jim Richardson from Whistling Straits, Mr. Russ Libby from down in Jacksonville, and Mr. Rick Murphy from down in the Carolinas. 3 incredible individuals who are putting themselves out there to represent all of us at the national level. So you will get a great experience, you'll see it, and at the same time you'll knock off some MSRs, so it's a little bit of a win-win situation. But it's if you have not been to the national meeting, it's definitely a pretty unique system, and you'll get to see our governance and work really close up. I don't know, Wes, Jeff, I don't think you have to sign up. I think you can just walk in. Any PGA member has access to the meetings, so you can just sit in the back. I know that the space will be tight, but come on down and definitely get a little taste of that. The rest of the staff, Dennis already hit on all that. That is an incredible team right there. Between 120 plus junior events, all of our section events, and I'm looking at the calendar over the last couple of weeks trying to just get phone calls to our staff, and they must know my caller ID because they don't take my calls. You're definitely way ahead of me, so that's pretty good. But the tremendous amount of time and effort that they put in a very short amount of time, just a quick round of applause for that group in the back who make it all work. We did, the Met section family suffered a great loss this last couple of days. I don't know if anyone knows Michael Clayton. He definitely had a far-reaching touch on the Hope program, and he allows us to have his wife, Kelly Clayton, work with us and for us, and she is the glue of the family. So just a quick moment of silence to honor the great Michael Clayton, please. Thank you. Thank you. Please keep Kelly in your prayers and thoughts over the next couple weeks as she starts to move on in her life and deals with her great loss. But on a more positive note, I want to thank everyone in this room for all the incredible foundation work, junior golf, Folds of Honor, Hope program. What an incredible year. The foundation is doing great financially due to your efforts fundraising. The Hope program has gone, I think we had 178 down at Woodside Acres last week for the graduation ceremony for the fall class, and we had a spring class at Metropolis, which was off the charts as well. The junior golf fundraising and all the volunteer work that everyone in this room does for the kids in junior golf. Thank you very much. You guys heard the message in the spring and rose to the occasion and have performed way above all expectations. So thank you very much. And I'm going to turn it over now to Mr. Jeff Voorhees, the Executive Director of the Metropolitan PGA.
Okay. Thanks, Heath. Dennis. I'm going to try not to be too redundant here. I think some of my remarks are probably going to be similar to those that you've heard already, but maybe just put a different spin on a couple of things. First would be to the club for hosting us here in Ardent. It's late in the year, everybody's tired, but for the assistants, for Anthony and Jess and Danny, for it to mean enough to them that we have a nice place to come and meet and play golf, and for Gary Murphy and for Neil to get the golf course ready on a day, again, it's late in the year, we just as soon kind of slow down a little bit, but you know, they're out there already. I'm sure everybody saw them cutting the tees and the greens when they came in. So, and to Bonnie, the manager, again, to have an event late October when we're all tired, just really, really awesome that Innis would do that for us. So thanks very much to all of you guys for making this happen today. Today's meeting is pretty much a review of the year that was, pretty much of a congratulatory time where we kind of pat ourselves on the back a little for some of the things we've done, and I'll do that a little bit, starting with Dennis. Dennis, it's been a great couple of years having you as the leader of this association. I think it's easy to forget as you sit out here in the audience, you know, and things kind of just progress and they roll along, and the staff gets a good amount of credit for all the programs and things and tournaments. This guy's heart and soul went into this for 2 years. He did call us a lot, but I mean that in a good way, because he was plugged in, he was engaged, and it did mean an awful lot to him. So I think we all owe Dennis a sincere thanks and round of applause for the 2 years of service, because you did an unbelievable job. To everybody here, you know, we ask a lot of you from an association standpoint. You know, you all have an awful lot of responsibility at your job, and that kind of obviously comes first. You know, I think the assistants, you know, like we talked about Kelly on our staff being the glue, I think that's what a lot of the assistant jobs are here in the section. You know, you have to hold a lot of things together, keep a lot of balls up in the air to make your pro and your club look good. And in addition to all that and the great job that you do there, you know, we ask you to help us raise funds for the foundation. We ask you to volunteer for PGA Junior League finals that we had up at Silvermine this year. You know, we ask you to participate in PGA Hope and to come out and teach the veterans at no cost. And we understand that that's not easy, but you guys do a heck of a job. When we need help, the volunteers turn out. When we need a host for a tournament, people raise their hand. So I guess this is just a thanks from my seat, and I know from the rest of the staff, to everybody in the room for your participation, your volunteerism, your care about the association, and making sure that we have viable programs and tournaments. So congratulations to everybody in the room and everybody that's not here on a great 2016. Great year, guys. Great job. Again, we're going to talk today about some of those things, tournament accomplishments. We've got some great players in the room who did some great things this year on the golf course. We're going to have a few awards. The Gil McNally Award, which has become a pretty sought-after achievement for your improvement in your game from the previous year to the current year. We're going to talk about that a little later. The Assistant of the Year Award, another, not a change, because we've had the Assistant of the Year Award for several years. It was sponsored by one of the big golf companies. That sponsorship went away this year, and Heath Wassam and the rest of the board of directors decided that maintaining that award was really important because it's a very meaningful award. It's a great resume builder for the person that's chosen. In fact, what Heath and the rest of the board and officers did was they wanted to actually elevate the process. Not only did they look at the written submissions for the Squire Cup applications, they said, let's bring the 3 or 4 finalists in for an in-person interview. And the philosophy there was not only to help them pick the best assistant to go on and be chosen to have the award, but that it was almost akin to a head pro interview. And I'm sure if anybody knows or talks to those finalists, they'll tell you it was pretty nerve-wracking, pretty good experience, and I think a great job by our officers, and something that's, I think, going to be a really big, and has been and will continue to be a great award and a great process going forward. So we're going to talk about that in a little while. one more aspect of today is going to be the election that we're going to have this afternoon, or this morning, I should say. We're going to play golf this afternoon. But I urge you on this election to just take it seriously. Not to say that we haven't in the past, but I do have a sense that there's vote for your friend, or well, that's the only person that I know, so I'm just going to vote for that person. And that's well and good, I suppose, but this election's pretty meaningful, obviously, because we're going to choose the leaders of this subsection of the Met PGA board, the Met PGA Assistance Board here. Who you put in these seats is going to be your leadership. They're going to determine your programming and lead the association going forward. And the people that are taking the leap of faith, that put time and energy into putting materials online in advance that I know everybody here read, right? We owe it to those people to listen to have read what they wrote in advance, to listen to what they say when they come up here, and to choose based on that, and based on the type of leader that you view them to be based on those things, as opposed to simply writing down, you wouldn't believe this. I mean, we've had people write Mickey Mouse down and stuff on these ballots. So, long story short, take the election seriously and don't vote for the person you know or the person that makes the best joke when they're standing up here, because that would just be non-productive to this process, and certainly unfair to the people that are putting the energy into coming up here. The other thing that we talk about at these meetings regularly is the idea of being involved. Get involved, get involved, get involved. And I'm sure you'll hear it. And I think the idea of being involved usually for a lot of people is, well, get on the board, right? That's how I get involved. And I think that's almost almost the pinnacle of involvement. So I urge you to kind of take that idea and almost throw it out as, well, that's the only way I can be involved, is if I get on the board, and that's not really for me. Maybe you don't have time, maybe you think you won't be elected. Involvement in this association is everything. It's the compensation survey. Does everybody fill one out? In fact, I think we'll probably halt the meeting and make sure that everybody does fill one out today, but that's critical, because when head pros or employers need that information, if we have 24 responses out of 600 assistants, what good is the information? Get involved by attending events and participating. Again, we have a huge assistants association, and I'm preaching to the choir, I suppose, a little bit because you're all here. But we have 68 people here. That's a little bit of apathy to my mind. So for you people in the room, continue to be involved and participate. Heath talked about the Squire Cup and the Squire Cup application and the process. I can't figure out why every single person in this room in the association doesn't go through that process. Again, to me, it's a little bit like running for this board. Well, I'm not going to get elected, or I'm not going to get chosen to the Squire Cup, so I'm not going to waste my time. I don't see it that way. I see it as a real opportunity to go through the process, to almost, for you, it's almost a resource. It's my year in review as an assistant. This is what I did at my club. This is what I did in the community. This is how I volunteered my time. File that away, and then you'll have it for future jobs, interviews, etc. To me, it's a great opportunity that's missed by so many. And trust me when I say the board of directors, they notice. Okay, they're extraordinarily proud of every applicant, even the ones that they're not able to choose for the 12 on the team. They're extraordinarily proud of the work that goes into those applications. And I would just urge everybody. It's an opportunity missed if you're not putting yourself through the process. Even more so if you don't expect to make the team. Give yourself, take advantage of that opportunity. And like I said, they notice. Believe me, they notice. A few other things that you can get involved with, our foundation, that a number of you have done such a great job with over the years and continue to do with raising funds. As you probably know, we had a little change this year where our foundation is no longer called the Junior Golf Association, but it's the Met PGA Foundation. We felt that was important because it allowed us to include things like the HOPE program, other diversity and inclusion, some golf in schools programs and things like that. but you guys are the leaders of those efforts. And again, probably it's that top 10% doing 90% of the work kind of thing. Those in this room are probably most of those that raised a lot of the money. So for that, we thank you. But for those that are unfamiliar with the Met PGA Foundation and the programs that we offer and the way that the Assistants Association raises the funds, please let us know. You know, we're more than happy to provide you with some materials, some ideas. We rely on your continued support for that. The Junior League, again, I mentioned it before, the finals that we had up at Silvermine. Assistants Association did an outstanding job. I was lucky enough to make it up there that day, and the energy and enthusiasm from those kids at the finals was directly because of the effort that you guys put in, not only at the finals, but throughout the year, and fielding your teams. I know it's probably more of a headache than you think it maybe is worth at times during the season, and organizing matches and practices and kids everywhere, but you know, the feedback that we get about how great of a program it is, what it does at the clubs, the kids wearing their jerseys even when there's not an organized Junior League day or practice or match. Fantastic, and so another great job to all of you guys. And then just one more idea on involvement. Again, this may be a little twist from the normal get on a committee, get on the board. Know who our sponsors are. And when you're at the show, make it a point to go stop by and say, hey, I know you're, and you know what, pick a company that you or your head pro doesn't do business with. Because you're going to see, if your head pro is a Callaway guy, you're going to deal with your Callaway people. They know you, you know them. Go over to Ping and say, hey, I know you guys are a section sponsor, and I just want to say I appreciate it. You may not have a meeting set up, and that's one of those things I think where people feel like, well, they don't care about me. I'm not going to move the needle. You know, they want to see Heath Wassam. Well, they want to see Heath Wassam too, but there's a lot of power in numbers, and if 500 pros from our section that are at the show stop by and say thanks, that's gonna strike a nerve with some people. It's certainly going to make our job a lot easier when we ask them for money year in and year out. But little things like that go an awful long way, probably further than people imagine. And that includes the team championship and expo for the PGA members in the room or those that played in the team championship. You know, it's a fun event. We're out there having a good time. But my opinion is that we don't spend quite enough time making sure that we go around and thank all the sponsors. And boy, it's a little bit frustrating that, you know, we've got them all. We bring the horses to water and you still can't make them drink, kind of a thing. Like, we're right there. We've got all the vendors there, and you know, people have lunch, get a cocktail, and beat balls. And that's good. We're demoing the equipment, but I feel like there could be more done on our end individually. And hopefully you'll just keep that in mind, because again, that type of involvement, keep talking about involvement, that's as important as anything. And as a group, as a whole, as I said, power in numbers, we have that power. So just a few thoughts there. And then lastly, just to talk about our staff. And again, it's been done, so I'll be brief. But this was a transition year for us, obviously, with Charlie stepping down and not being involved with the day-to-day operation. He's still very much involved, but it's just not quite as much day-to-day as he had been. In addition to that, we switched over, as some of you may know, to this PGA administrative program where they do a lot of our financial accounting and things like that. One byproduct of that that you may have noticed would be that direct deposit feature that we offer. Hopefully that was seen as a positive and well received. Maybe you got your money a little bit quicker this year for tournaments. But with all that, there's just a couple of things I'd like to say personally. Number one would be thanks to all of you for your patience, for your support, for sort of helping our staff through the year, because it was a transition. It wasn't easy all the time. And then the other thing would be just the rest of the staff. Pretty much with the change, it's a change for everybody. You know, Dan Kiley slides up into the tournament role. Caitlin's new this year. There's more on Kelly's plate. You know, Kevin is the new assistance staff member. So just an awful lot for everybody. You know, Dan Frankel really stepped into the junior golf role and did a lot more this year. So I guess it's just from me to the staff. Great job this year, guys, and thanks for making me look as good as I can look, because it's not always pretty. But great job to our staff. And I guess just to close and highlight the one member, as I mentioned, Kevin Rodine. the staff member that is sort of the assistance person is customarily, at least in my tenure, has been a young person, sort of similar in age to all of you, and there's that bond and that friendship just based on age alone. And you know, Kevin doesn't fit that mold. We broke that mold when they broke the mold in general when they made Kevin, but
You were great, Kevin.
but we broke that mold when we put Kevin in this position. I'm being serious, because it was a little bit of leap of faith on our side in hiring Kev, and all those things, the friendship, the effort, the care and concern, even in some ways the mentorship that Kevin was able to provide to some of you. Can't say enough about the job that Kevin did this year. I'm so proud. I'm so happy that we made the choice that we made, Kev, and I know all of you are too. So Kevin, great year representing these guys and working hard for these guys. That's all I have. That was short, right? Oops. Thanks. I don't know who's next. I didn't bring my agenda here. I think we're going to bring up Jonathan Gold, our PGA employment consultant for District 2, Met section, Jersey section, and Philly section. He likes the Met section the best. I broke the mic.
A little better. Thanks, Jeff. You know what? Jeff kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit here. Maybe a little bit partial to the Met Assistant Association, formerly a member of the Met Assistant Association. So just to see how the association has grown over the years is fantastic. You know, golf, we say it's a place that we like to make it better than we found it, and I'm so proud of what you do. You make it so easy to tell your story and how good you are to employers. So congratulations on your year, another wonderful season. What you've done in playing accomplishments, the growth of Junior League Golf, flipping in the booklet, seeing all the team captains. We started with 4 teams 2 years ago. I mean, it's wild what you can accomplish. And just overall, the success that you achieve is so wonderful. Congratulations to the board here, and Kev steering the ship in the right direction over the years. Watching it from the outside now, it's really special. So, tying into employment and trying to keep this short, the current state of employment, I probably can count on my one hand the amount of jobs the past 3 years that we've had open as far as have professional positions. A little bit low turnover. However, the outlook of employment in golf in general in our section is highly positive. Jeff mentioned before the compensation surveys, they are vital to our section and our employment. Last year, we had an 11% increase in professional compensation. Okay, so that's a story that we can tell moving forward to our employers to kind of position ourselves as the continued leaders in the industry. There is a high demand for assistant golf professionals. We do have a shortage. We do not feel it as much in the Met PGA, but across the country, our PGM universities are only turning out 1/3 of students as we had only 10 years ago. Sections like Philadelphia and New Jersey, when employers reach out or head professionals reach out for assistance, they're not getting a whole lot of resumes anymore. So the demand is there and the increase in compensation, and overall we're in a very good place. As we leave and depart and we come back next season, in the meantime, it is important to prepare ourselves for success. When we look and we enter an interview, it's okay to be nervous in an interview. It means something to you. But the more prepared you are heading into that interview, the more confident you will seem in front of the eyes of your future employers. To do so, you have to know what's good. Seek out, find things that are good. For those who applied for the Squire Cup, for example, and didn't make the team, find out why, talk to Heath, figure out what was in the application and what can we do better. If you applied for an interview and you didn't get the job, understand why you didn't get the job and figure out who did it best and emulate that. Now, I have to give the group up here a lot of credit. There was an event at Wakabuck in the spring. They brought in a couple of head professionals that just got head professional jobs in the section, and they did a great job explaining what they did to get their current job. So seek out what's good. And then lastly, this is a fraternity within this section. Find mentors within the section that will be of help to you. When search committees reach out to head professionals, likely head professionals will give their current staff as recommendations, but they're also going to mention other assistant professionals that aren't at their current facility. So it's good to network. When you see people, shake hands. If you have a chance to head to the annual meeting, meet new people and introduce yourself. It's going to go a long way. And then lastly, and most importantly, understand, as Jeff mentioned, we have a responsibility to you, and we take that with great seriousness, that we are here to help and support you and further your careers within the section. If ever you need help, please reach out to anyone in this room, the board, the current board of directors, the section staff, myself. We are here to ensure that your careers are enriched and you live fulfilling lives within the section. I wish you the best of luck for the following season. I hope that was short enough for everyone. And then we'll see you come the spring. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, Heath, Jeff, Jonathan. Moving forward to the gentleman on my left here, the Assistants Board, or the term that I learned at last year's fall meeting, my dais. Thank you to you guys for your service. I've certainly said it once before or twice before. It's not a hard job, but it certainly does take time and commitment. And we spent a lot of time on the phone, emails, conversations, meetings before meetings, all to continue to make the association here the best. And it's been a pleasure working with each of you guys over the last 2 years and getting to know you a little better. I'm going to pass it on to a guy who I've been on the board with for 3 years now. It took me 3 years to learn how to say his name, our first vice president and tournament coordinator. But I'm going to say it one last time my way, Tyler Jamarillo.
Thank you, Dunge. That's how I say it. On the second page, well, first I want to start by saying thank you for all those that helped me get your golf course on the schedule. As you know, or whether you do or do not know, it is a lot of work that goes into putting together the tournament schedule. And as you also know, it's difficult trying to spread those golf courses out so it's easy access for everyone. I know there's a lot of Westchester heavy golf courses on there, but for future reference and for the incoming first vice president, please try to make some room in your schedule, talk to your boss, talk to the general manager, see if we can start spreading the field, maybe up our ante a little bit on Long Island golf courses because they're difficult to get. Anyhow, I'm going to move on to some of the results on this year. On the second page, you will see Kevin. It did a nice job with all the photos and making a little collage, so to speak, of the winners from this year. Again, thank you to Kevin. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but for all your help. I know you have to deal with me a lot, so I appreciate that. I'm just going to kind of whip through these a little bit. At Old Oaks, in our spring meeting, Pete Ballo was our champion. Yours truly at Woodway. St. Andrews, Josh Rackley. Spring Major at Weburn was Nick Beto. Rolling Hills, Jim McCann. Connecticut Golf Club, Palo Salvaggio, in a playoff, if I remember correctly. For his second win, Wakabuck, Pete Bello. Middle Bay, I believe this was his first win, Josh Fritz, congrats. The Summer Major Country Club of Darien, Rob Corcoran. I believe he won in a playoff as well. Westchester Hills was Andrew Shiflett. At Tamarack, went to Nick Beto for his second win. Silver Mine was Pete Bello for his third, who I believe holds the course record there. National Rental Car Assistance Championship at Bethpage went to Kyle Higgins, good playing that week, 6 under par. Tour Championship at Huntington went to Bryce Busey. Not sure really how you say that. Maybe when he gets on the board he can explain himself. Patterson Club went to Evan Degnan. And the match play, which was held at Shinnecock, the finals, in a 3-2 match, Colin Corrigan and Becky McDade. Aside from that, I just wanted to run through a couple things. National Rental Assistance Championship, those that are going to be playing in the national tournament will be Kyle Higgins, Grant Sturgeon, John Guyton, Pete Ballo, Josh Rackley, Kevin Lisi, Daniel Lee, Ben Polland, Todd Larson, Anthony Aruda, Colin Corrigan, and Matt Knoll. So congrats to all those that made that. We just retained our cup for, not really sure how many times we've had it in a row now, but it has been a couple. If you all were here while Dennis walked in the door, it was held above his head as he entered. So it's something he's pretty proud of. I think he went undefeated in his term, so congrats on that, Dunge. But anyway, those that competed were Pete Ballo, Nick Beto, Bryce Bussey, Pete Kentazero, Dennis Dungy, Jimmy Farrell, myself, Ryan Callista, Daniel Lee, Kirk O'Gurry, Alex Smith, and Caleb Wilson. Generally speaking, that team is decided from board members and then from the Player of the Year points on the Assistance Championship. Continuing on, the Gene Bork Squire Cup, just to rub it in again, Heath Wassam still did not win the Squire Cup. Those that, whether in the event of a tie, the cup is retained, and sure enough, it came down to a pretty, tight finish there in the end. I watched Jessica Carafiello knock a stiff 3-wood on the last group to have her match against Greg Biscotti, which was sealed the deal for us. But those that were involved were Pete Ballo, Jessica Carafiello, Pete Cantazero, Dennis Dungy, Tyler Jaramillo, Isaac Kim, Tyler Lauer, Frankie Martinez, Kirk O'Gurry, Ian Orr, Alex Smith, and Jeff Sullivan. Aside from that, on the following page, you all will see the scoring average from 2016. It's clear to say why the gentleman at top will be getting an award later. But aside from that, thank you everyone. And again, please start thinking now for next year, but we'd love to get your golf course on our schedule. Thank you.
And again, not to beat a dead horse with the Squire Cup, but I think with Heath's leadership, we've definitely transitioned that a little bit into getting new faces involved. Certainly, as Jeff kind of alluded to, there was a lot of great applications, but we had, out of the 12 players, 8 were there for the first time this year. So congratulations to the team again. And just to kind of piggyback on Jeff's thought of the Squire Cup application, not only are you applying for the Squire Cup and storing things away for down the road, I think it's a good way to get your name out there. And who knows when Heath Wassam or a Carl Alexander was on the selection committee this year, comes across your Squire Cup information, and the following year is looking for somebody to fill a position at his place. So not only is it a preview of what you have before you get in an interview room, but I think, again, it's a good way to get your name out there. So again, hopefully next year, I think we had 21 or 22 applications. Hopefully next year it's 200 for the new president that comes in. Moving on to second vice president, education chair, Pete Catanzaro.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dennis. So, as Dennis just reiterated, my name is Pete Catanzaro. I'm at Scarsdale Golf Club. I just completed my 6th year there. This was my 2nd year on the board. I was in charge of education for the last 2 years. This year, so I'm essentially just going to review quickly some of the stuff we did this year, and then we're going to run through a couple other lists. But the highlight of this year, we implemented the Career Development Day. So for those of you that were there, we were at Walkabout Country Club. The format of this year's Career Development Day was we had James Ondo, Keith Richardson, and Michael Schenk donate their time. We went through a Q&A session, and there's roughly 25 assistants there. We had roughly 90 minutes to really just pick their brains on anything related to getting a head professional position, director of golf, etc. So that was really a nice day. I hope whoever is elected to second VP next year continues that tradition. It seemed like that was more of a success than perhaps the Mentor Monday, which went really well for a couple of years, but then fizzled out, unfortunately. So who knows? Maybe that'll come back. But that was a great day. We also had John Hobbins from Aimpoint present at Weburn Country Club. We had the fabulous Joshua Dunn do a little something for Blast Motion, for those of you that know Josh. And then Jonathan Falk at Country Club of Darien did a little bit on financial planning. So we had a nice little lineup this year, and I'm sure whoever takes over next year will continue that. So if you open up your packet, I'm going to briefly zip through the individuals who were just elected to membership. Congratulations to Jacob Bowden from Golf Ventures, Joseph Bongiorno from Shinnecock, Jessica Carafiello from Annis Arden, Cody Correa from Siwanoy, Anthony Delgado from Siwanoy, Derek Diesel from Noyak Golf Club, Joseph Doughty from Quaker Ridge, Michael Durkin from Wingfoot, Timothy Gaskin from Brayburn, Timothy Gillis, from Silver Spring, Alexander Goss from Sleepy Hollow, Matthew Hurd from North Hempstead, Kevin Lisi from Bergen Point, Lisa Monaco from Beekman, Matthew Muller from South Fork Country Club, Robert Rodair from Tamarack, Gary Rogers from Wingfoot, Stephen Sanderson from National Golf Links, Patrick Saunders from Cold Spring, Eric Seitz from Mansion Ridge, Kent St. Charles from Willow Ridge, Tanner Stewart from Plandome, Barry Shunikis from Mashalou, Carla Wasienko from Sleepy Hollow, and Ian Wilson from Stonebridge. So, quick round of applause. Congratulations to, I'm not going to read through them because we've got a lot to do today, but congratulations to the PGA professionals entering the Quarter Century Club, as well as the Half Century Club, and the PGA professionals earning certification. So, quick round of applause for all of those gentlemen and ladies. That is all for me right now. Do we want Jimmy to come right up here? Here's Jimmy Farrell, our treasurer.
Okay, real quick, junior golf, I want to commend all of you for, you guys did an awesome job on the junior league. Again, we had the finals at Silvermine. For those of you who came up and helped and with the walking scores, it was fantastic. Those kids were hysterical. It's kind of hard keeping the parents at bay, but it all worked out in the end. I want to thank you all for doing that for us. Also, on the second page, on the back of the second page, at the bottom, on the Assistance Committee report, some of the clubs that were able to raise their funds for a junior golf league, go through them real quick with Chris Downing, come with you at Sea Wayne, John DePalto, Adam Larkin, Nick Maselli, Pete Ballard at Old Oaks, Jesse Fitzgerald, Sean Hand, Alex Smith at Garden City, Tyler Harlemio, Aubrey Bishop at St. Andrews, Jeff May, Billy Van Orman at Meadowbrook, Jason Peterson, Austin Rentz at Country Club in New Canaan, Joe Condomini and Todd Larson at Round Hill, Stephen Terrera at Brookville, Garrett David, Sarah Dixon, Joe Doherty, Mario Guerrero and Kevin Quinn at Quaker Ridge, Brian Giordano and Pete Campman at Sunningdale. Thank you to them. Those were able to raise those funds for that foundation. Next, Alex, come on up.
All right, guys. A couple quick things. Thank You Note program, second year of that, tremendous success. Appreciate all you guys taking time, whether or not you did it at the events or whether you went home and were able to send out an email. I certainly know the people that hosted the assistance tour this year were very thankful for that, and we were able to get about 40 to 50% of you guys writing at least one note, which is tremendous, given what it was before, what the numbers were before. So thank you for that. We were able to have the thank you note stations at 14 of the 15 events, so we'll look forward to trying to keep that up next year as well. Able to do 6 assistant profiles for assistant professionals hosting assistant tour events, which I really enjoyed. And again, another program I'm going to try to keep going next year as well. I get a chance to talk to some more of you and hear about your story. One other quick note about the thank yous. I know Jeff mentioned it, but take some time in the off season and write maybe a thank you note to a sponsor or two of the section that has helped us out or helped you out personally at your courses. It means a lot, and I know they appreciate getting them. And then one final thing, Jeff mentioned this as well, but we have the employee questionnaire. We're going to have some time during the election as the votes are tallied, so I think most of you have pencils at your table, so if you haven't done so already, if you can fill those out, and we'll collect them after the events of today. So, thank you.
All right, now the fun stuff, hand out some awards. First, Stroke Average Award, which Tyler kind of hinted on earlier, with a 69.58 average over the year. Obvious why he's on top of the Player of the Year list as well, but Pete Ballo, congratulations to him. I know he's down in Florida prepping for the the National Assistants Championship. Also, Player of the Year Award, as of today, the leader is Pete Ballo, but he can, I believe, be caught by Anthony Arruda if Roots was to win and Pete was to finish somewhere near the bottom. So an outside shot for Roots, but congratulations to those two guys on their playing accomplishments this year. Now for the presentation of the Gil McNally Award, I'm going to bring up Mr. Gil McNally.
Thank you, Dennis. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This particular award was created years ago when people at the Treber wanted to do something to recognize me, and I wanted to recognize the people that meant the most to me, which was the assistants. Some of the finest years of my life were spent right where you guys are right now in your career and in your lifetimes. You know, the growing experiences and all the things that I learned, the people that I met, I never forgot that. And as time went on, our profession started changing a little bit. You know, we got into this game because of playing and teaching, and that was always the cornerstone of our association. As the business end started growing, more and more emphasis started to get put in that direction. I wanted to make sure that we always held playing and teaching very dear to us. And that's why this drove. That's why when I was asked how I wanted to do it, I wanted to do it in this direction. We've had some great winners over the years. This particular year, the winner is equally as deserving. And in one sense, he's really not the most improved. If we had the correct name, it would be the Bounce Back Player of the Year. Kirk had an off year last year, had a bad back, worked hard getting himself back in shape, and had a great year this year. But the one thing I like really about Kirk when I spoke to him, he's going in the right direction. The two things that mean most to him are his playing and his teaching, and that's where has all of his focus, works hardest to do the best that he can do, and has really no interest in, I wouldn't say no interest, but is almost entirely focused on those two areas, and to me that's extremely important. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce and present Kirk Oakry as the Gil McNally Award winner for this year.
How are you doing? I'll keep this short. Thank you very much. I'm extremely honored to win an award with a name like Gil McNally. He's a legend in our section. I know that a lot of afternoons, if I got done a little bit earlier, which is 5 or 6 o'clock, I'd sneak over to Garden City Golf Club and go play a couple holes, and I see Gil over there playing some golf and then drive off in his Beamer pretty quickly. So I try to stay out of the way and I stay at the club a little longer. In a way, yeah, I would say it probably wasn't as easy to win a Gil McNally Strokes Average Award unless I had a little slip-up year, if you can call it that. But when I'm healthy, I can play okay. And I think as I've gotten older, I start to learn that you have to take care of your body a little bit better. And I can't practice as much as I used to be able to in the past. But it's really just trying to make sure that when I have my time, I try to spend it on my game. It's definitely still a priority of mine to stay competitive in the section. and to make sure that I can do everything that I have when I have my spare time to devote to my game. So I'm extremely honored. Thank you very much, and great year for everybody else who's in contention, and hope to have a little better year next year. Thank you very much.
Congratulations also to Kirk. Many of you know, and I believe he's receiving the award on Wednesday, but 2016 Metropolitan Teacher of the Year. So congratulations on a fantastic year. 2016 Assistant of the Year, as Heath and Jeff kind of alluded to earlier, the selection process was given a little bit of an upgrade, where basically the Squire Cup committee selects the Squire Cup team, and then from there they kind of rank those 12 selections. Top 3 or 4 are brought in for the interview process, and the board votes immediately following that process. So it's fresh on their mind what's happening. The process before used to kind of take a little while, but I think it's a great change to it. And in the end, it was a very close race between the 4 finalists. And again, the award's based on all-around performance as an assistant, fulfilling your job duties, playing ability, involvement, junior golf, anything related to golf. And certainly the winner this year, just to list a couple of his accomplishments and involvement. Met PGA Hope volunteer, given his time to give back to the veterans and help change their lives. Met PGA Foundation, over $1,000 raised through club drives and clinics at the club. Was a PGA Junior League Championship volunteer for scoring. Girls to the Tee at the Westchester Country Club volunteer clinic. He's a part of the Assistants Tournament Committee. Hosted a summer major at Darien, which I'm sure if you guys were there, way above and beyond anything that I've ever seen here in my short time, 7 years in the section. From the staging on the range, where they had the pictures of the winners from the first couple events, individualized yardage books with information in regards to the section in there. The food and beverage stuff afterwards was awesome, a fantastic job by him and the rest of the staff there at Darien. He's certified in teaching and coaching, a PGA certification in teaching and coaching, and is continuing towards his master professional status. Playing ability-wise, he finished inside the top 50 on the Player of the Year list and had 3 top 15 finishes. As you can see by all his accomplishments, Ian is an all-around golf professional and well-deserving recipient of the award. He will officially receive the award on Wednesday at the meeting, but your 2016 Metropolitan Assistant of the Year from Country Club of Darien, Ian Orr.
Thanks to Dennis. I do want to give a couple thank yous. First of all, thank you to the board, Met PGA board, and the staff at the section that really kind of make the platform so that we can give back. I want to thank the staff at the club, because all the stuff that I do can't happen without help of Kevin Hardy, who's in the back there. Second year in the section, he definitely has helped me with the fundraising. He's there to cover me when I go and volunteer. Chris Fisher, who a lot of people may know from Tuxedo, joined us this year. So big thank you to them. And I think what's really kind of separated me from, I guess, my 2015 self is just my willingness to volunteer. Anytime that I was able to raise my hand and do something, I did it, and I think that's probably a big reason why I'm standing here, other than the fact that they didn't want to give Kirk 3 section awards. So again, this will probably segue into my running of the board, but I'm humbled for this award, and this is just going to inspire me to, give back even more. So thank you.
My time has come, Heath. Thank you to all of you guys and girls out there. for voting me on the board 4 years ago and continuing to work my way up the chain. Thank you to Andrew Bostrom, who I'm sure is glad that he hears his name thrown around at a Met meeting here one more time. But for him getting out of my way so I can move my way up the ladder to be the president. It certainly has been an awesome experience for me, getting to know a lot of new faces and be involved. And getting involved and serving on a lot of capacities has certainly opened many doors for me. Haven't been able to close the door on this chapter, but hopefully here in the near future I will be able to. I certainly wish all of you who run for the board today and in the future much success. And representing the association in the section has been a great honor, and I thank you all again for giving me the chance to be up here.
Thanks, Dennis. Congratulations. It has been an absolute pleasure working with you the last couple years, and you will close that deal here soon. So you're one of the exceptional ones, and you will get it done. So on to the election. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions open and available. We put term limits in a few years ago, not because we felt that any person dominated each position, but there's so much talent in this room that we wanted to try to prepare more individuals for moving up to the big board in the future and serving here in each different role. So just to kind of clarify, each position has a 2-year term limit, and you can sit in each of any of those 5 seats. So you could serve up to 10 years, just 2 years in each of the 5 different seats. So just because you serve as president doesn't mean you're automatically out. Once you do your 2 years, you can go back and serve as another one. So I think that's confused sometimes. But we are going to have each candidate, there's some pre-submitted names. Each individual will come up and give their quick presentation as to why they feel that they are the candidate that should win that position. We'll take a vote between each of those, tally that up, and if an individual does not win that election, they can go back to drop down to the next slot and put their name in for each of the next successive offices. All right, so we will begin with our first presentation. Mr. Tyler Hadamio for President of the Assistants Association.
Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate all your hard work over the last couple of years and 3 years on the board for that matter. So I appreciate it, and thank you, Heath. In light of the presidential elections, I want to share a little something about myself, particularly for those who don't know me. I first want to start by saying that I do not have a private server in my New York City apartment to hide emails. I also want to touch on that I don't think I've forced myself on beautiful women because of how powerful and rich I am. And I am getting married in 12 days. But I am pretty sure that my future spouse is not sleeping with a White House intern. But on a serious note, I do want to touch on a couple things. I am finishing up my 11th season in the section. And in those 11 years, with the help of coworkers and what have you, I have helped raise over $100,000 for junior golf and PGA Folds of Honor. I have volunteered for the PGA Hope. I have volunteered for the Junior League Championships this year at Silver Mine. I am constantly out front in every aspect I can be in the Met section. Outside of the Met section, I have started a golf school for elementary kids in Seattle and in Austin, Texas. I have volunteered for the Nepal Golf Association on multiple occasions, helping underprivileged kids out there. Aside from that, I have served on the board for 3 years. I have observed and learned a lot from past presidents. I believe that I have the same skills that have made those presidents successful, and I am ready to put my experience to work. If I were given this opportunity, I would take my work experience, what I've learned from others, and the ideas to the Met section, and to contribute in every way possible to make everything successful. The candidates speaking here today are all qualified and significant contributors in our section, and I do want to appreciate them and their dedication and support. and regardless of this outcome today. So again, I'm running for president, and I hope everyone votes for me. Thank you.
All right, and also just want to make the formal process, these pre-submitted names, any individual can also run from the floor, so once we go through all the three pre-submitted names for president, if anyone else from the floor wishes to run, I'll reach out to everyone then. Second on the list, Dan Sposato.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for the privilege of speaking here today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Dan Sposato. So I'm about to finish my 11th season here in the Mets section. Currently the first assistant at the Mill River Club on Long Island for Jason Karen, and this is my 3rd season there at the club. So I was born in Huntington, New York, on Long Island. I've lived there my whole life. So it took me a little while after high school to figure out what exactly I wanted to do with my life. I was in a band for a while. I got to go on a tour a couple times and thought that would be pretty neat, but didn't really work out. And then I almost went to pharmacy school, but I'm glad I didn't do that too, because every pharmacist I know is miserable. So thankfully I got a job in the golf business about 10 years ago. And so I definitely consider it a privilege to be part of the PGA and the Mets section. I never thought 10 years ago I'd be up here running for any position on the board, but I think my experiences over the years have given me some ideas on how to share those experiences and how to help out in the future and give back. So in this section, we're very lucky. We have a lot of professionals with a wealth of knowledge who are willing to share that knowledge and make each other better. It's very unique, and I've learned a lot from everyone in this room, and I kind of want to continue that. So if I do get elected for any position today, I want to create a mentor committee of experienced assistant professionals and head professionals that would be willing and be available to help maybe young professionals who aren't sure about how to go about making themselves better in the section or to get through the PGA program, or more experienced assistant who maybe wants some advice on their resume trying to get a better assistant job or a head professional job. When I was in my first job, I didn't really know anybody. I couldn't really plan any events or go to a lot of meetings, and my head professional didn't go through the same program I went through, so couldn't really help me very much. And I think something like this would have been very beneficial to me to make my career go a little bit quicker. So I've reached out to 3 head professionals who have been willing to be part of this also, including my own, Jason Karen. So if I do get elected for any position today, I think we can get this going and be kind of unique and set us apart from other sections. So I'd just like to thank everybody today for the opportunity, and everyone have a good time out there today, have fun, and thank you to anyone that's been on the board or run for the board in the past. Thanks a lot.
All right, great job. And Mr. Frankie Martinez.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Frankie Martinez. I've been in the Met section for 4 years. I spent the whole time at the Patterson Club under Chris Kenny. Just to cut to the chase, basically what I want to do, I have a few ideas. I've talked to Jonesy about them. But basically I want to provide the assistants with tangible assets. What I mean by that is a few years ago, or actually this year, I got US Kids certified. And what they did was they gave you a game guide for the kids, which is awesome. I know each of you probably have your own games that you make with the kids. And I was like, why can't we put this into each specific area of the operation? So, for example, each of us is involved with a 9-hole league, interclub, twilight, 9 and dine, whatever you want to call it. So why don't we, through collaborative efforts from each assistant, put together something that we've had from our club and to just spread it out to each of you. I know Chris and I at the Patterson Club are more than willing to share our ideas with each and other clubs. And this idea, just not specific to formats, but we can do something for club fitting, teaching, merchandising. And also we can put something together for assistants, something to build their portfolio to help them move on. We can even, upgrade it a little bit to move up to the next head professional spot. Whatever it is, whatever gets you going, I'm all about helping you guys out. So something that you can have in your hand. I know we're all full of knowledge here. If you can put that together, I think it'll help each and every one of you. But other than that, thank you for your time and good luck today. Thank you.
All right, that wraps up the 3 pre-submitted names for the office of president. Anyone would like to run from the floor? Don't everyone run to the microphone. Open to the floor. All right, there are ballots on your table. Please write in the name of the candidate that you would like to choose for the office of president. And Dan and Kevin in the back will go around. We're going to tally those up real quick. Mr. Tyler Hadamio, congratulations. All right, now we'll move on to the vice president position. We have a few individuals here that have not spoken. If an individual already has presented, we'll let that stand, and we'll let the individuals that have not presented come on up to the microphone. So, Mr. Dan Sposato has already presented, is in the running for vice president. First person that has not presented yet today, Mr. Jimmy Farrell.
Okay, as you know, I've already served on the board for 2 years. First vice president is basically in charge of tournaments and tournament coordination. For 4 years in the Midwest section, I was the tournament chairman of that section. I organized, conducted, ran, got all the events, solidified all the golf courses. One of the things that Dan had touched on earlier too with the Mentor League, this is actually kind of in place. So if you get in, I'll help you with that because I already have probably 18, 20 golf professionals across the Met section that have already signed up willing to do this. This is something I'd like to see go through. Just from a logistics standpoint, through Jeff Voorhees and I, we're still trying to kind of get it so it's located so you as assistants can go reach out to golf professionals close to you, but also not only that, but specialized per department, whether it's tournament operations, teaching golf, golf operations. So that is in place, that's close to being done. It takes a lot longer than you think. As far as tournaments go, that is near and dear to my heart. Not only do I like playing in them, I like running them as well. My contacts with the section and some of the people here, I pretty much know everybody in the room, so that should help. So other than that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jimmy. Next on the list, who's also already presented, Mr. Frankie Martinez, is in the running for the office of vice president as well. And the last candidate that is pre-submitted is Mr. Pete Canzero.
Thank you, Heath. So as I mentioned earlier, I've been at Scarsdale Golf Club for 6 years. Prior to that, I was at Greenwich Country Club for 3 years. So if you're any good at math, I've been in the section for 9 years, and for 9 years, I have played in everything. I'm a little bit nuts about golf. Really, it's why I'm in the business. There's nowhere I'd rather be than on a pristine golf course, and there's nothing I'd rather be doing. When I ran for office 3 years ago, really, I had visions of the VP position. The chance to influence the tournament schedule is something that I really care about. This is the position that I want. After seeing what Tyler has been through the last 2 years, I realized that it takes a little bit of tenacity, a lot of tenacity, and some perseverance. You have to be a little bit annoying to get these golf courses. I think back to when I was 23, working at Greenwich Country Club. We had not hosted an event. Well, I was an intern there for 5 years prior to that. I remember asking the head pro if we could host an event. Didn't really get much of a response. I asked again and again. And after that, I went to the president of the club and I essentially just forced the issue. And we did eventually get an event. Ironically, it was rained out. But we did get an event. After that, I went to Scarsdale. Same situation. We hadn't traditionally hosted. If you guys remember, we hosted an assistance event 2 or 3 years ago. We had Mentor Monday scheduled, which again fell through. But you know, I guess the point is that if I'm elected, I'm going to do everything I can to present the best tournament schedule we possibly can. But really, at the end of the day, it's kind of back on all of us. If I'm elected, again, I'm going to do everything, but I'm going to bug you guys. Everybody that I know, I'm going to bug you. You're You gotta basically go to your board, you gotta go to your head pro, and you gotta push for it. And if everyone in the room does that, that's the best chance we have to really have a great schedule. So that's what I ask, and that's my pitch. Vote for Pete. Thank you.
Great job. And those are the 3 names submitted. I'm going to reach out to the floor again. If anyone from the floor would like to run for the office of Vice President. All right, go ahead and please cast your ballots for one of the following for the Vice President position. Mr. Dan Sposato, Mr. Jimmy Farrell, Mr. Frankie Martinez, and Mr. Pete Catanzaro. Mr. Pete Catanzaro, congratulations, Vice President. All right, now we move to our 3rd position of the day, 2nd Vice President. We are going to bring up for the presentation, first name on the list, pre-submitted, Mr. Matt Knoll. Matt's in Florida? Okay, so Matt, I'll present for Matt. Mr. Matt Knoll seeking the office of 2nd Vice President in absentia from down in Florida, so we'll remember that name there. 2nd Vice President, 2nd name on the list, Mr. Kirk O'Gurry. How many awards has he won so far? Is that a blue blazer?
No.
Do you actually own it?
Oh, you're not matching. I do, but it's you just got it. Good morning, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kirk O'Gurry. This is my 18th year in the section. I've been on Long Island all those years. Became a PGA member actually about 4 years ago, and ever since that time I got my membership, a lot of things changed. I really felt like it was my time really to contribute to the section a lot more. Being one of the older assistants also here, I really feel that it is my time also to mentor, also to help everybody in here. So if there's some people that don't know me, come and talk to me. Come and hang out. I'm okay, you know. I'll talk to you. I do want to touch up on a great job that you did this year, the last 2 years, and I really appreciate it. It's not easy to set up education programs, to try to get the time from these head professionals and also people from outside the section that are very knowledgeable, that are great with education, with teaching, etc. To get them to donate their time in the section, to spend time, it's difficult. So for setting that up, I really appreciate that. I want to second the program that Jimmy Farrell talked about also, about how the mentorships, whether it's from club fitting to teaching to public speaking to anything like that, that we could do to try to help out the newer assistants or even the assistants that are looking to improve in anything that they do. I'm in a position right now also that I have some time that I could dedicate to that, and I'd like to take my experience and my knowledge that I've learned in the last 18 years and try to help out the association. So I appreciate the vote for me, and I'll do everything I can to help you out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kirk. Next on the list, who has not presented, Mr. Enor.
I promise I'm not in this to keep Kirk from winning anything. But I work for, as education chair, I worked for John Kennedy for 7 years, and as many of you may know, he was really big into giving back, education, mentoring young professionals. Kind of instilled that into me as a young professional, as somebody that was new to the section 9 years ago. I took a lot from the section. I took an opportunity to play in the tournament. I took took advantage of going to see people like Butch and Sean Foley, and took an opportunity to go play a good golf course, invitation to go play a good golf course. So there came a point where I felt like I needed to give back. And hopefully through some of the volunteer work I've done, it showed that I've wanted to give back, and education is a very important part of that. So going forward, you know, it's only gonna, my efforts to give back are only gonna increase more, and hopefully you can see that and vote for me. Thank you.
So, Mr. Ian Orr, also for second vice president, who has already presented as well, Mr. Dan Sposato is in the ring for the office of second vice president. Mr. Frankie Martinez as well. And the next individual we have not heard from, Mr. Alex Smith.
Thanks, Heath. I know some of you may or may not know, a couple years ago I decided to go back and get my MBA part-time. And one of the things that the professors in the classes were really harping on, no matter what the class was the power of data and the power of information. And that immediately connected with me as a golf pro, because if you think about what we do in the golf industry, whether it's as a player, if you're only getting up and down from the bunker 20% of the time, that's some data, that's some information. What are we going to do with that? We're going to go hopefully spend some time in the bunker and improve our up and down percentage. If you're in the shop and you are having trouble selling merchandise, if 50% of your members are XLs and their favorite color is blue, and all we have is a plethora of medium sizes that are red, that's the connection's lacking there. So what do we do with that? Hopefully we place better orders. So one of the things I've been thinking a lot about the last couple years, in particular the last couple months, was finding a way to harness that and transfer the power of data and information to the Assistants Association. So if elected, what I'm going to do this winter is, my goal is to talk to each one of you guys in the room, at least one assistant at every golf course in the Met section, and go to you and find out, okay, what's working well at your facility? Maybe a new initiative that you've put forward or put together that's had a lot of success. I know one thing that Matt and I did at North Hempstead when I was there last year was we put together a Player of the Year program and weighted it heavily towards participation, because a lot of our, particularly our men members, weren't playing in our tournament schedule quite as much. So we put together a Player of the Year competition, and they loved that we had rounds or participation go up about 20%. Over 220 members played in the events for that year, and it was a great success. So it could be whatever the initiative or program might be. That's what I want to talk to you and find out about. And I also want to talk to you and find out about challenges or obstacles you're having as assistant professionals at your course. So whether it might be that for whatever reason members aren't taking lessons, whether it could be that there are restrictions for your junior program because you don't have the space, the range space, or the course availability to have a successful junior program. Whatever it might be, I want to find out the challenges and successes that you're having in your venues. And then hopefully, having talked to all of you, get a profile of some similar courses that are all maybe struggling with the same thing, and then together we can kind of collaborate and find a successful solution for those problems. I believe that there's so much creativity, as he said, and talent in this room, and also the assistants that aren't here today, and the Assistants Association, that collectively we can find. There's no problems, there's no challenges that we face as assistants that we can't collectively find the answer to together in this room. So that will be my program that I'd love to try to put together. I know education, it's like some of the other guys said, Pete's done a great job with that, and if elected, I'd definitely pursue that as well, putting together some great education programs. But I think education is more than just, and it can be more than just having a meeting after an assistance event on Monday afternoon. Education can happen when we talk to each other and when we connect with each other on an individual level, and we can learn from each other. And so that's the attitude and the philosophy that I'd be hopeful to try to facilitate as a second vice president. But thank you very much. I've really enjoyed the last 2 years as secretary, and we got a lot of great candidates, so I know we'll be in good shape no matter what happens. But thank you for your time. Appreciate your vote.
Okay, that wraps up all of our pre-submitted candidates. We will open to the floor the office of second vice president. Anyone who would like to run from the floor? All right, please go ahead and cast your ballots. Candidates for second vice president are Mr. Matt Knoll, Mr. Kurt O'Gurry, Mr. Ian Orr, Mr. Dan Sposato, Mr. Frankie Martinez, Mr. Alex Smith. So second vice president, congratulations, Mr. Alex Smith. All right, fourth spot, treasurer. We've heard in abstention already from Mr. Matt Knoll down in Florida. Matt is in the running for treasurer position. Mr. Ian Orr has already presented as well. Mr. Dan Spazzato has presented as well. Mr. Frankie Martinez is the last pre-submitted candidate for the office of treasurer, and now we'd like to open it to the floor.
Nominate Tyler Lauer.
Mr. Tyler Lauer for the office of treasurer, please come on up and present.
I'm not going to tell any jokes per Jeff's comments. I don't want to be a funny guy up here. I'm going to be very serious. I also didn't submit prior to this because I'm more of a sneak attack guy. I don't like to, have anybody prepare for anything against me here. So I just want to say thank you to the Met PGA for having these meetings. Innis Arden. I was lucky enough to work here for a year. I moved here in 2005. Very lucky to work for guys like Carl Alexander, Sean Powers, Gary Murphy, and currently Jim Wall at Whippoorwill Club. Really a good group of guys up here. Obviously, I don't really know if I can say I'm going to be better than this guy or that guy. I do know that I'm going to come with a lot of enthusiasm to whatever I do. If you spend any time with me, I think anybody can attest to that. I want to get involved for a battery of reasons. I think it's nice to be a part of something that you're passionate about. I also think I've been at every meeting, so if you've seen this big fat face for long enough, I think I can get up here and talk about some issues. I play in tournaments, donate at times, but I'm out there trying to get better. Really, my job, which is I'm very lucky to work for a guy like Jim Wall. His wife worked for the section, so I have time. My job allows me to be involved. A couple of things that I do. I donate my time in the Chappaqua community for some clinics in the spring. I spend a lot of time with my juniors. I was lucky enough to work with, hand in hand with former president of the association, Dennis Dungy. We teamed up for a junior PGA team, Mount Kisco and Whippoorwill. We coined ourselves the Angry Birds. And like I said, that's really helped me at my job. We did something I thought was pretty cool, and I don't know if our opponents thought it was pretty cool, but before every match, we put a banner out, like a football team. And the kids came barreling through it, and I gotta tell you, the kids from Bedford might not have liked that as much, but it was actually pretty funny to see it. It was pretty good, and it made Dennis and I laugh. If we're gonna be there till 7 o'clock at night, at least let's have some fun, I was just selected to the Squire Cup, which was pretty cool. Again, I was lucky enough to play with Brian Kroll for 18 holes. And John Kennedy for 18 holes and Brian Kroll for 9 holes. And really, really cool just to, like I said, be in a room or just be around guys like that. I mean, I think he said like 38 years or something like that. And it was pretty cool just to hear some of the stories. And obviously him moving on to his next chapter of life, which, again, I think all of us in this room are hoping that we can kind of, the back 9 of our lives is going to be a hell of a lot better than the front 9, you know what I mean? More importantly, I want to better myself. I'm getting a little older. Like Heath said, it's not easy to get up here and talk to all you guys. I mean, I know I could probably hold court if we're having an Arnold Palmer or something, but this is a little bit different forum. But I'm always trying to better myself. I know I can harvest some really good things being on the board, being kind of, a part of this and exposing myself to this. And really, I was that guy in the back of the room when I first got to the section that kind of sat on my hands and I always had a lot to say, and I really didn't do anything about it. And then I saw a lot of the guys that I was spending a lot of time with, and they're not in this room anymore because, well, they're head pros now. So obviously I kind of saw the writing on the wall, and obviously this is going to be a good path, I think, to going forward, whether it's here in the Met section, in your life, in your career, or in anything you do. I've had a lot of kind of things that have been making me uncomfortable this last couple of years, so I figured I might as well just keep it rolling and get weird and come up here and try to get a position on this board. But again, in all seriousness, I'm going to come with a lot of enthusiasm. I have some great ideas, and I think I could make a difference. Thanks.
There's the passion I'm talking about. All right, anyone else would like to run from the floor for the Office of Treasurer, please? All right, please go ahead and cast your ballots, please. So congratulations for the position of treasurer, Mr. Tyler Lauer. Congrats to each of the winners so far. For Office of Secretary, Mr. Matt Knoll, an abstention from Florida again. Mr. Ian Orr, already presented. New individual has not presented so far today. Ryan Zachary to present. Is Ryan here?
Ryan Zachary still wants to be in the process. Unfortunately, he had a little family emergency this morning.
Okay, so once again, family first, big priority. Ryan Zachary will be an abstention for the Office of Secretary. Mr. Dan Sposato. Mr. Joe Condomiti. Joe?
Thank you, Heath. My name is Joe Condomiti. I'm an assistant golf professional at the Round Hill Club. Worked at Sunnydale Country Club in the past, as well as a few other Met courses. I've been a PGA member for 3 years, but I've been in this section since I was 13 years old. Coming from upstate New York, working at Otter Hill Country Club. I believe that's where Kirk started. Right, Kirk?
My first job.
Yep. 97? I think it was 03 for me. But before I get started here, I just want to tell a quick story. I'm a brother of 5. I have 4 younger sisters, so I get made fun of a lot. I told my sisters that I was running for secretary, and the only thing I got was my sister Jules making fun of me because she thought it was a girl's position. But after I got past that, let's see. Over the past 6 years, I've been fortunate enough to work for 2 national award winners, Tom Henderson and Michael Breed. They both won the award as I was working for them, so that was very cool to witness, and I've been able to learn from them a lot, and 2 great mentors of mine. Why I'm running for secretary, I just want to get involved. Over the past couple of years, I've been doing more and more to get involved. One thing I do this year, I started volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club. Pretty cool program, 5-week program in the spring and the fall that get to teach kids that don't get access to golf courses how to play golf. We use snag equipment, it's a lot of fun. I show up an hour early and play basketball with a bunch of 10-year-olds, makes me feel really good. One other thing I did this year was volunteer for the Met PGA Hope. If you guys haven't got a chance to do that, it's a must. Awesome experience. There's some guys there. It's kind of similar to the Boys and Girls Club. You really make their day. Must do if you guys haven't done that. Started PGA Junior League at Round Hill. This is our 2nd season I've done that. Did that with Todd Larson this year. Record numbers this year. Went from like 15 to 27 kids. In the past, I've hosted events. When I worked at Sunnydale Country Club, I hosted an event. Something that I want to do next year is I want to bring an event to Round Hill. That's one thing. If I get elected, I want to get more events at courses that I've worked at in the past. We could bring it back to Sunnydale. I know we didn't have one last year. Sunnydale is an awesome course if you guys haven't played it. Total new redesign, actually. Last 4 holes. Used to be pretty boring, but it's actually, Pete can tell you, he's an assistant there now. The golf course is amazing, so I'd love to get it back there. I think that's very easy to do. They usually host every year. I brought an event to Paramount in the past. Mario Guerra used to sit on this board, and when I was working for him at Sunnydale, he asked me if I had any ideas, and I said, you know, Steve Scott just got that job, and he's a player. I bet you we could bring an event there, and I think every year since then we've had an event every single year. I think I could bring more events to better courses. That would be a goal of mine. One other idea that I'd love to start, if you guys elected me for secretary, I'd love to start like a tournament like we kind of have for Mentor Monday, where although it's kind of phased down and it hasn't been as successful in the past, but I'd love to bring interns, people that, you know, that maybe can't play professionally, they're still in their amateur status, but I'd love to host an event where maybe one pro could host the intern, like I could bring my intern, we could play a team event like today. Not only would that be a great networking opportunity for them, but I would be able to meet plenty of new interns, and maybe I could have my intern hired before the PGA show for next year. But those are just a couple ideas I have. I have many more. If you guys vote for me, I promise to do my best, and I'll work hard and be very enthusiastic. All right? Thank you, guys.
Yeah, don't turn it off. Here's your notes. Start reading your stuff. And also in the running for the office of secretary, once more, Mr. Frankie Martinez. So that finishes all the pre-submitted names for the office of secretary. I would now like to open up the position of secretary to the floor. Anyone would like to run from the floor? All right, we'll recap. Candidates for the office of secretary: Mr. Matt Knoll, Mr. Ian Orr, Mr. Ryan Zachary, Mr. Dan Spizzato, Mr. Joe Condomini, Mr. Frankie Martinez. All right, first time ever tiebreaker for the position of secretary. Congratulations, Mr. Frankie Martinez.
Hey.
I think that goes to show you can't win too many awards in the same year. Frankie, welcome to the dais. Mr. Dungy's favorite word, the dais, up here in the front. Now I get to turn, I'm going to welcome each and every one of these to the office of President, Mr. Tyler Jaramillo. Vice President, Mr. Pete Catanzaro. Second Vice President, Mr. Alex Smith. Treasurer, Mr. Tyler Lauer. And Secretary, Mr. Frankie Martinez. Congratulations to the board. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. President. New business.
Thank you, soon to be past president. Again, thank you to Heath for everything he does. He never misses a meeting. He is always so gracious up here, and hopefully I can rub off, or he rubs off on me a little bit. Anyhow, we are just going to transition into new business. Any new business? Okay, moving on to open forum. All right, that's how I like to see it.